welcome to another episode of Spill It. My name is Marcus. I will be your host for the evening because you don't have another host. You just have me. It'd be good to actually have another host at some point. Maybe give you guys a bit of a break from me. But here you go. Here is me in all of my glory. Here is Spill It, a show where I get to talk about extraordinary things from ordinary people. Or is it the other way around? A show where I get to talk to ordinary people who do extraordinary things. There we go. That sounds better, doesn't it? And so we have a great show coming up for you today. This is a show where we get to connect the world together. We get to inspire each other, and we all get to learn. So what does that mean for you? Well, firstly, I'm connecting to you. Hopefully my guest is going to inspire you. And we will all learn. I'm going to be learning. You're going to be learning. My guest is going to be learning. This is going to be a great episode. So, welcome to Spill It. As I say, there are 3 pillars that I stand by, and every single episode should follow these 3 pillars. The first one is to connect. The second one is to inspire. And the third one is to learn. That is what Spill It is all about. So, what we are going to talk about right now is that it's time to be happy. The reason I'm just quickly looking at my phone is because I completely forgot to type up the time to be happy. So I need to read it out from my phone. But that's not going to stop me. Here we go. So it's time to be happy. Here is a lovely photo for you, and here is the lovely story to go with it. So, a blind mum got to see her adorable unborn baby thanks to a 3D printed ultrasound. Taylor Ellis was born with glaucoma and has very little vision. When she went in for a 20-week scan and was unable to see her baby, she was left in tears. When doctors found out she was upset, they conducted a special ultrasound and made a 3D printout of her unborn daughter's face. 26-year-old Taylor and her husband, Jeremy, who is also visually impaired, received the special scan in the post a week later. They were able to feel the baby's face as a result, and it was a dream come true. Baby Rosalie is now 10 weeks old, and mum of 3, Taylor, said the 3D printing technology, most commonly used to make car parts, has been life-changing. That is absolutely phenomenal. I can't genuinely believe that technology is now at a point where we can 3D print an ultrasound scan. That is mental. So basically, she was wouldn't be able to see. So the 3D scan was there. The 3D printer printed out the ultrasound, and she was able to feel the baby's face. So obviously, imagine, or that will create a picture in her mind about what her baby looked like. Honestly, it's so emotional. I absolutely love that. It was it's a very touching story, I think. And I thought it was definitely something that I wanted to share with you guys. So get those comments and questions rolling in, guys, because it means that I can do things like this, where Bev is nice to put, good evening, Marcus. Good evening, Bev. Hope you're okay. And then Lisa is also popping into the chat and saying hello. Hope you've got a brew, Lisa. Lisa's tuning in. So we are on episode 9. Episode 9. We're nearly in double digits, guys. We're nearly in double digits. Nearly at episode 10. That, to me, is like absolutely amazing achievement, to be fair. So, holler at me. Episode 9. So, episode 9. Sports inclusion, a history. So, hit that share button. Get this stream far and wide. There we go. I'll get my words out eventually, guys. Get this episode far and wide. This is going to be a great one. Lawrence joins us at 7:15 p.m. So make sure you are tuning in, because Lawrence's story is going to be absolutely epic. I can't wait to hear it as well. But oh, hang on. Here we go. Nathan's joined in from last week. Hi, Nathan. Hope you're all right. Reese has popped in as well. So Reese is saying, looking forward to being on this. Shh, that's a secret, Reese. We've not told anybody yet. But Reese is going to be coming onto the show in a few weeks, which I'm really looking forward to. It's going to be an episode that's going to bring out quite a bit of an emotional side to me. You guys don't get to see the emotion. You guys just get to see the craziness. But yeah, you'll get to see the emotion that is within me on that episode. It's going to be really, really good. I can't wait to have Reese on the show as well. Andrea is giving a little bit of waves. Hi, Andrea. Hope you're okay. And Lisa's going a whoop, because we're nearly on episode 10, guys. Nearly on episode 10. I'm so happy about this. I hope you're happy to share this moment with me too. So it's our section, guys. It's our section. It's my new favorite section to talk about. It's weather time, ladies and gentlemen.
Feeling hot, hot, hot. Feeling hot, hot, hot. How are you feeling? Feeling hot, hot, hot.
Feeling hot, hot, hot. What is the weather like where you are? Let's spend 5 minutes talking about what the weather is like where you are. So for me, I'm in. Is it Teesside? Yes, it's Teesside, near Newcastle / Middlesbrough. So I'm northeast. Hang on, mirrored. There we go. I'm northeastish. Imagine that we've got like the UK here. This is me over here. I am northeastish. And what is the weather like where I am? Let's have a look. Let's pull back this curtain. Oh, it's all right, actually. Bit of blue sky out there. Not many clouds. You know what? I'm feeling this weather today. I'm feeling it. This is good weather. This is good weather. Where is the weather? No, what is the weather like where you are? Leave a comment telling me where you are and what the weather's like. So you either got it's nice, or it's a bit shit. There's only 2 bits of weather that we care about. It's either really, really good or it's a bit shit. Let me know. Lisa, it's meh. Lisa, where are you messaging from? Tell me where in the UK you're messaging from and where in the UK is it a bit meh? Bev is saying the evening sun is shining in Forward. Forward is in Preston, ladies and gentlemen. So Preston has got a lovely evening sun shining. That's cool. I like the fact that as soon as I leave Preston, it starts being sunny again. That's disappointing, guys. Thanks for rubbing it in. Nathan has got blue skies in Lancaster. Loving that. Blue skies in Lancaster. I miss having blue skies. I mean, I've got a little bit of blue sky over in Teesside. We've got Andrea. It's nice in Chorley. Finally. Do you know what? I feel you. I absolutely feel you. I'm not a fan. I am not a fan of all this rain. Do you know what? It's been so long since we've had like massive downpours of rain like we've just had. I'm not a fan. I'm not here for it. It's not the thing. Let's not live in that darkness place now, guys. Lee O'Brien, it's nice. Good, cool. Lee O'Brien, I know that you live in Preston, so there you go. But drop a comment. Just say, guys, it's nice in Preston. Lisa is watching from Grantham. Now I'm trying to think where Grantham is. We should know, guys, that geography for me, no-go area. No-go area. Give me maths. Give me English. Don't give me too much maths. Give me maths. Give me English. Give me drama. Give me dance. I'll nail it. Give me geography. No, it's a no-go area. Grantham, I think, if I'm right, it's down south somewhere. It's down south somewhere. It's down yonder. We'll say that. Nicholas Pyle, Lisa is on a very strange planet. Lisa, you're on a strange planet, apparently. Ooh. Why is that, Nicholas? Oh, there you go. Lisa's commented Lincolnshire. There you go. Bev thought it was in Scotland. It's not. It's Lincolnshire. Jan Richards also popped in as well and said Lincoln. I think Nicholas is saying that you live on a strange planet because Grantham is not a place. I think it's a made-up fairy tale place that you're living in, Lisa. So there you go. I don't know. I'm as bad as you. I mean, Lisa, you live in Grantham. You should know where it is. You can't say that you don't know. Oh, what is this episode so far, ladies and gentlemen? This is hilarious. Have we got any more watchers anywhere? This is my brew. This is my brew of coffee. You saw what I was like last week with coffee, but that was after 2. This is just, I've had half. We're getting there. We're getting to that buzz level. It's going to be good. This episode's going to be good. We have got Simon watching from Walthamstow. Is that Walthamstow? Walthamstow? I don't know how to pronounce it. Blue Skies in Walthamstow. I'm going to say that. I have no idea where that is, Simon. I'm going to be honest. I have no idea. You might need to help me out with that one. I don't know. But it's nice. It's got blue skies, apparently. So there you go. Thanks for sharing that with us, Simon. He's not. He's my uncle. Oh, there you go. So she's my niece, and Dad whipped it out before. Let's pull that comment away, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. London. Thank you, Jan. So Walthamstow is London. I know where London is. That's way down there. That's an awful drive to London, ladies and gentlemen. I will tell you that much. Simon, in East London, home of the band E17. Oh, I had an E17 song popped into my head there, and he's completely gone. First person to give me an E17 song or a number one hit from E17 wins a smile from me. That's what you get, ladies and gentlemen. You win a lovely smile. You might win points, though, because this week we have got our competition time coming up. We've got a new competition starting specifically for this week, so you can win yourself some Spill It merchandise. So, oh, hang on. There we go. The comments are rolling in. Bev says stay. Lisa stay. Lisa stay. Oh, well, she actually says siay. She doesn't say stay. She says siay. Stay. Is it on? Stay now. Stay now. Baby, you don't have to go away. Yes, it's that one. I love that song. Do you know what? That is going on my Spotify. Perfect. Stay was on Vodafone Radio every Christmas. Oh my gosh, it was. Stay now, stay now. There was a song, actually. I can't wait to do my Christmas episode, by the way, guys. Just so you know. But there was an episode. There was a song. It will come back to me at some point. And there was a song a couple of years ago at Vodafone, because I used to work at Vodafone, and they had it on every 2 songs or something. It'll come back to that same one, and you'd be like, "Oh my God, help me! Somebody take me from this." It was awful. It was awful. I think it was a good song. For some reason, I think in my head it's something to do with Westlife, but I could be wrong. I'm gonna find out. There you go. But Leo Bryan says that his that Stay by E17 with his first CD. Nice. I can't remember what was my first CD. My first CD, I know exactly which one it was, actually. My first CD was Scatman. Scatman. I'm a Scatman. That one. That was my very, very first CD. Oh. Bev wants to know if she can be Santa's little helper. Bev, you can. Of course you can. Of course you can. I need all of Santa's helpers. Socially distant, of course. For now. Hopefully by then. Hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be all right by then. Right. So, oh God, guys, keep these comments coming in, though. I'm having the time of my life. Time of my life. Can't wait to do. Do you know what? Let's do a karaoke night one night. Let's do a karaoke by Spill It. Perfect. We'll spill all our drinks everywhere because we'll be that level of I don't want to say it. Drunkness. Sonic will say it. It's my show. Say what I want. Right. So let's move on to our last section before we welcome Lawrence on, because I have talked your ears off, ladies and gentlemen. It is our competition time. That's right, it's competition time where you can win yourself some Spill It merchandise. I have got t-shirts up for grabs. I've got different logos as well. You can choose the logo here, which is really, really tiny, but you can choose that logo on your t-shirt here. You don't even have to have it all the way on your chest. You could have it on your little breast bit here. You could have it on the back, wherever you want it to. You can have t-shirts. I've got vests. I've got tote bags. There's loads of different things that you can get. So all you have to do is answer this question. So at some point during this show, my guest will reveal the answer to this question. You have to pay attention, you have to listen closely, and as soon as you have heard the answer, drop a comment with the answer. Before you do that, make sure you've shared. Make sure you've shared. Once you've shared, you'll be able to drop a comment as soon as you've heard the answer. That will put you in the draw, and the draw will be, well, the winner will be announced on next week's show. So, what is the question, everybody? What is the question, Marcus? Well, let me tell you what the question is. What was the first inclusive rugby team that Lawrence founded? I'll repeat that. What was the first inclusive rugby team that Lawrence founded? I'll remind you of it later on, guys, because, you know, I don't want you to forget the question. And if Lawrence does mention it, I might just quickly pop it onto screen, see who's paying attention, who's actually watching, who's listening. Well, don't forget to ask any questions, guys, because we're going to welcome Lawrence on the show. Hi, Lawrence.
Oh.
How are you?
I'm well, you?
I'm very well, thank you. The coffee is hitting the system, as you might be able to tell. You've been sat in the green room for a bit. I said green room. I've been saying green screen for like all day, and this is the first time I've said green room. You've been sat in the green room watching me, so you can actually hear and see the coffee taking effect.
I was very impressed, by the way. Many years ago, I was in the green room at Pinewood Studios, and it actually was painted green.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, this is virtual, so I can't paint a green room for you. Maybe I'll find some form of software that'll do it for me, where, you know, it'll just paint you green, maybe.
Yeah. By the really pedantic E17 song was called "Stay Another Day," not "Stay."
There we go. Just because, just to rub it in to everybody. Stay another day. Stay another day. There we go. Stay now. Stay now. Do you know what I think? I think for Christmas, I'm probably gonna do like karaoke.
Yeah.
Do you want to get involved with that?
I don't do karaoke.
Neither do I. I can't sing, as everybody's just witnessed. I can't sing for Toppy.
Stay was the Shakespeare Sister song.
Okay.
That the Eurythmics wrote for Shakespeare Sister.
All right. There you go.
I like to talk about sports inclusion, but music trivia.
There you go. There you go. I know who my former friend will be if I ever make it on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So, are you ready for your grilling?
I am.
Cool. Let's get started then. Here is your big question, Lawrence. Who is Lawrence?
Oh, that's a good one. So, I am years old. I'm just about at the point that I can still say mid-40s. I can get away with mid-40s.
I normally just go. I'm whatever age. Age is just a number. It doesn't matter.
You from yeah. No. So originally from the outskirts of Manchester. We're going to say I tend to vary exactly where I say I came from, depending on where's funniest in the sentence I'm using at the time. Had a bit of a twisty-turny life. Ended up now being in Preston for a while. And I seem to have become the go-to person for inclusive sports.
And why is that? Why have you been the go-to person for inclusive sports?
So it's been a funny ride. Ironically, I was there right at the start in the north of England when it all got going. I mean, I'll get to this when I get onto the history bit. And it's kind of gone from being somebody who just turns up and joins in to a bit more volunteering, being a bit more vocal. And I've just recently become the Europe trustee for International Gay Rugby.
Wow.
Which, if you'd asked me 5 years ago, I would never in a million years have said. That's something I'd be expecting to be doing. So that's what I do. It's all volunteering, all about trying to get more LGBT people playing sports. Obviously, my focus is on rugby, but I have a big, it's a big thing that, a lot of people, a lot of LGBT, myself included, in fact, I imagine a lot of listeners had a pretty rubbish time in sports at school.
Yes.
It was pretty rubbish. And it's a big thing of mine trying to get past that, trying to get people so it's something they can enjoy and something they can do.
Yeah.
And trying to branch out a bit. There's kind of the old cliche, oh, you're an LGBT person, wants to do sports, go and do roller derby. The cliche.
I remember being in school, and football was never for me. And I'll tell you my turning point for football. I remember being in primary school, and I used to play football quite a bit because my older brother used to play, and so we used to play quite a lot. And my turning point was it was break time at primary school. I gone out to the yard, started playing football, and I joined a match halfway through. I say a match, obviously we were like 10. And I scored an own goal because I didn't know where I was shooting. So I scored an own goal, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Marcus, you're rubbish." And I never played football ever since. I was just like, no, it's a rubbish sport. No, I'm never playing it again. But rugby was one that I actually got into when I went to high school. I think I had a lot of aggression when I was at high school, and I liked running. So I enjoyed the rugby side of things, but because of the people and the lads, and obviously the mentality and all that lot, they just brought me down to a point where I was just like, sod sports, essentially.
Well, I was talking about this with a friend a while ago, that I imagine it's improved a lot nowadays, but when I was at school, sports teaching was you were put on a field in the rain, on the outskirts, a ball was thrown, you were put into teams, and you were expected to play.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have a clue what you were doing, tough.
Yeah.
Just stand there looking confused. I think I think there's generally that happens a lot with people trying to get into sports these days. If you decide I really want to try such and such a sport, and a lot of clubs, whatever the sport, will say, yeah, come along, give it a go. But if you've never done it before and don't have a clue what you're doing, they do struggle, and I think it's really sad.
Yeah.
I think it's really sad, and that's a bit of kind of where I've come from with this about, wanting to get people who've never had that, positive sporting experience out on the pitch, having fun, keeping fit, meeting people.
So, so obviously you had that experience, obviously growing up, and what was the turning point for you? What was the point that you thought, you know what, something needs to change?
Yeah. Well, if you think, kind of, I was, around, early to mid 90s, and back then, people would say, "Oh, it's modern times," but actually, if you compare then to now, you had, what's his Fanshawe, the LGBT footballer who came out, was absolutely hounded out of the game, ended up committing suicide. And even his brother offered him money not to come out. Was one thing that came out later.
Yeah.
I remember, I remember in the very early 90s when the Spartans first got going in Manchester, they wanted to hire some equipment off another club, and the other club refused to let them hire the equipment, and the exact words were, well, when we get it back, we might catch AIDS. So I decided, 99, when the Spartans were absolutely first starting, you know what, I'm going to go along and give this a go. I'm going to go along and have a go. Went along for quite a while. Really enjoyed it. Then on my way to their very first game, August 99, I fell down the stairs at Oxford Road train station on the way
Okay.
to the game
Oh no.
and broke my ankle. And I kept an interest. It's something I knew a lot of people who did. But I kept an interest and I kept kind of passive support. I thought, but anything you've had an act, even though it wasn't on the pitch, you think, nah, I'm not going to go back again. That's it for me. Anyway, then 2012. So Bingham Cup was in Manchester in 2012.
Okay.
Bingham Cup being, the background is Mark Bingham was one of the passengers on Flight 97 on the September the 11th attacks.
Oh
And he was
wow.
one of the passengers who tried to retake the plane. The plane
Right.
that crashed before it reached its target.
Yeah.
He was so Mark Bingham, and he played for San Francisco Fog, the inclusive rugby team in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And so the year after, San Francisco Fog, there were hardly any inclusive clubs around at the time. You could have counted them on one hand. Messaged them all, there were about 8 of them, and said, hey, why don't you all come to San Francisco and we'll do a little tournament in his memory? Oh, that's a good idea. I said, everybody went. And they went, should we do it again in 2 years' time? I go on then, well, let's do it somewhere different. All right, let's have a bit of a bidding process for who has it next. And it came over here. It's now the biggest amateur rugby tournament in the world.
And that's the Bingham Cup, is it?
That's the Bingham Cup. That's a shot from Nashville, when it was in Nashville in 2016. I'm there with the cow print socks. Number 11 with the back to the camera. So I went, I was actually between clubs at the time, so I ended up playing for the St. Louis Crusaders.
Okay.
And that was our final game against the Chicago Dragons. We finished absolute bottom in the whole tournament. 5 losses and 1 draw. And apparently we were the only draw ever in Bingham. No game had ever drawn before. So we went and we had an absolute whale of a time. But that game against the Chicago Dragons was absolutely hilarious because Americans play a very different, rugby is rugby. But tactically, American teams play it very differently than European teams.
Okay.
And I did something that was absolute, bog standard Europe play. Yes, Simon, I know, Simon. So I went and played. I did what would be an absolutely standard move over here. None of the Americans expected it, so I pulled it off, which would probably be the first time I'd ever pulled it off, and I've never done since. And everyone just stood around looking confused. And Jeff, the referee, ended up shouting what to do at them both teams. So that was an experience. That was when it was in Nashville. Last time, 2019, it was in Amsterdam, when I went with one of the 2 clubs I ended up founding. And then it was going to be this year in Ottawa, in Canada.
So Simon's comment saying that St. Louis is in the States. That was aimed at me because I have no clue. So I would just be saying, going, yeah, I have no idea what that is. But there you go. Thank you, Simon, for clarifying. I feel so dumb.
It was going to be in Ottawa, in Canada this year. Obviously, with COVID, it's not happening. So we get a rollover in 2 years' time. We're heading over to Canada then. And it is one of the most amazing sporting experiences. There really is nothing like it. 70 odd teams. There's 84 inclusive clubs in the world now. In fact, there's more now. There's 86. There's another 2 since then.
Wow.
80s, and there's more on the way. So many people now who would never feel they could play rugby playing it. And it's not just LGBT people we have turning out on the pitch. It attracts a lot of people who, for whatever reason, think they couldn't cope in kind of a regular mainstream rugby club. You get a lot of people in clubs who are somewhere on the autistic spectrum, who are amazing rugby players, but kind of all the social stuff that comes around it would just be a bit too much for.
Yeah.
So they go to their local inclusive clubs. England is very much the hub for it. We've got about a quarter of all the teams in the world are based in England, all the inclusive teams. Then you've got America, then the rest are kind of scattered around the world.
So what made you want to start one? So obviously I'm assuming that the first one you was playing for, is that right?
Yeah. I played for Manchester. Okay. So I went back in 2012. Now, when I went back in 2012, I actually wasn't planning to go back. A friend of mine called Tony was going to go. And he rang me and said, I want to go, but I don't want to be the only new person on the day I turn up. Will you come with me? And I'm like,
okay.
I don't really want to. He goes, go on, come with me. You only need to come once, and then I'm not, the only new person. He never turned up.
Okay.
He never turned up. So, and that got me back into playing. So that was 2012. 2016, I was pretty much planning on, I was like, I'm in my 40s now. I think it's time to call it a day. Bingham Cup, yeah. I'll do a Bingham, go to America, play in a Bingham, go home. That's it. So anyway, I get back, and me and my friend John get talking, and he's been made aware of some money that's available from the RFU and a bit from the council about starting up an inclusive club in Liverpool.
Okay.
So me and John get talking. It's like, should we do this? Should we do this and get another team up and running? Oh, I don't know. Oh, go on then. Let's give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? It's not our money, it's a grant. What is the worst that can go wrong? So we started. So a little Facebook page got created that was just called Liverpool Inclusive Rugby, the page. We started doing posts. We started talking about, hey, what should we call ourselves? What should we have for our kit? Right up until the flyers for us. So we're going to go to Liverpool Pride, which is July every year. So July 16, we're going to go to Liverpool Pride. Liverpool Pride. Some of the Spartans said they'd come with us. They lent us some kits so we could all march in rugby kit. We'll march, Liverpool Pride, hand out flyers. Brilliant, right? When do we need to order the flyers? Right, we need to order the flyers by 8 p.m. on such and such a day. Fantastic. So we'd come up with all sorts of names. The Mersey Mammoths, all sorts. Mersey Mammoths is the one that sticks in my mind. But there were all sorts that were...
I quite like the Mersey
Mammoths.
What? Mammoths. I quite like that.
But we ended up not doing that because the King's Cross Steelers vets team are called the Steelers Mammoths.
Ah, right, okay.
Taken. So me and John are talking, and he goes, have you noticed there's a merman on the side of Liverpool Town Hall? Let's call ourselves the Liverpool Mermen. Yeah, do that. Liverpool Mermen. That'll do us. So, like I say, had to go 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, they had to go to the printers. At 7 o'clock, John messages me and goes, you know what? I think Liverpool Mermen's a bit camp. Let's do something else instead. What's like a merman, but doesn't sound as camp? I turned around and pulled off my bookshelf the Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual.
Right, okay.
A list of everything in the same category as merman. One of which was Triton. And we went, that sounds great. And the Liverpool Tritons were chosen as a name.
So you called the first one the Liverpool Tritons.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So what happened after that? So you created the Liverpool Tritons.
Yep.
You've been to Liverpool Pride.
Yeah.
You go going to Liverpool Pride. Sorry.
Went to Liverpool Pride, marched in Pride, got a huge list of people who said, hey, that's great, let's come along. About 10 turned up to the first training session. Hi, Chris. About 10 turned up to the first training session. Kind of went from there. Anyway, now Simon, who's been commenting, me and Simon got talking afterwards online, and he said, why don't you start a Preston team? And I went, nah, I can't be bothered starting a Preston team. And he goes, if you do it, I'll buy you a load of chocolate. And I was like, yeah, no. I go, anyway, what would I call it? And he goes, let's call it the Preston Pugs.
Okay. I love the fact that all it took was like, I'll buy you a bag of chocolate. And you're like, yeah, winner, I'll do it.
So he said, go and do it, and we'll call it the Preston Pugs. And I was like, no, that is a rubbish name. Anyway, so I was going down to Liverpool to play for the Tritons from Preston. And I don't know if you remember, a couple of years ago, there was a month where they closed the line between Preston and Liverpool because they used to get the train down.
Right.
So in that month, obviously, I couldn't go down. So anyway, there was a bit of an advert came out for they were doing a turn up and play over 40s night only for rugby at Preston Grasshoppers. So I thought, I'll go and do that, just I'm doing something, all my age, it'll be a laugh. So I go down and only 3 people turned up. So I get talking to the coach, and we get talking. Do you know what? I reckon you can start an inclusive club in Preston, and that is honestly where we started. So the RF Rugby gave us a bit of money to help out at the start. Provided us with a coach who is absolutely amazing. Gave us some equipment, and off we went. And again, we were sat in the bar one day, me, the coach, and a couple of other people. Like, we need a name. We need a name. We need a name, and we were coming out with all sorts. On the list were the Lancashire Warlocks. There were the I wanted Lancashire Lightning, but apparently that's already taken by a women's cricket team. We had the Preston Guildsmen, the Lancashire Brigands, all sorts. And we were going, none of these are right. None of these are right. And as we're doing it, a test flight goes overhead from Wharton, from the British Aerospace Factory.
Right, okay.
And we go, how about Typhoons? And that is where it came from.
That is brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, it really is. Every club name really has a bizarre origin story to where it's come from.
So are you now running 2, or have it?
So I stopped having much active involvement with the Tritons 2 years ago down in Liverpool. I passed it over to all their new blood. The last thing I did was I organised their squad for Bingham Cup. That was the last thing I did. And then I've stepped down from most of my day-to-day running at the Typhoons up in Preston, simply because I don't have. Now I'm doing the Europe trustee for IGR. I just don't have the time to do day-to-day running. People keep joking with me that I'm going to get bored eventually and found another new club. Me and John, who did Liverpool together, we have this kind of competitive edge between us that we want one of us to end up founding more clubs than the other, because he moved to Australia and has founded a club down there now. So we have a bit of a competitive edge. but especially now, obviously, now I'm doing this stuff now I'm the Europe trustee for IGR. The transgender rugby campaign takes up so much time at the moment. So what's going on with that is about a month ago, an article appeared in The Guardian that World Rugby is consulting on banning transgender women from playing rugby.
Right.
And
what reasons that? I don't understand that.
They're saying safety of the cis women who are playing.
Right, okay.
So they did a consultation back in February, and then they've written this policy on the back of that. And obviously, on the IGR, we think this is absolutely terrible. So we immediately had to kick into full gear, running a campaign against it. Mm-hmm. Now, it leaking to The Guardian, not wanting to cast aspersions, but the Guardian article was published, and 4 minutes later, Fair Play for Women, the anti-transgender organisation, was tweeting about it almost as if they knew it was going to appear in The Guardian, the article.
Okay.
So a massive campaign has kicked up against that, that's being coordinated by IGR. We're kind of working on all kinds of levels, trying, social media level, because, it is terrible, but a lot of, I think we all know, Twitter especially, is absolutely dominated by a kind of very strong anti-transgender voice.
Mm.
So we're working kind of on the social media level, working with clubs, working with national unions, and trying to get World Rugby to change their mind about implementing this policy.
Yeah.
It's so against everything we believe in. We believe everybody should be able to play rugby in an appropriate way.
Yeah.
And for a suggested policy to come out to say, I'm sorry, transgender women can't play anymore, is absolutely terrible. And so, we are very campaigning against it.
I'm trying to get my head around that, really, because, obviously within a workplace environment or whatnot, you can't discriminate. I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand, because you can't discriminate. And obviously they're in their head, they're thinking, oh well, these women, because that's who they are. They are women. Do you know what I mean? These women are going to be a lot stronger than our cis women. It's not the case. It's completely backwards.
A single study done in Sweden on calf strength, on the strength of calf muscles. So this one study, that's literally what it's on the back of. A single study in Sweden on the strength of calf muscles.
That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
But in sport nowadays, pretty much across the board in sport, the rule is, if you've been on testosterone suppression for 12 months, you play as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And that is pretty much across sport. But World Rugby have decided they want to do different. And as you can imagine, it's brought some of the most dreadful people in the world out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
A lot of the real active anti-transgender voices are saying, wow, this is wonderful. But hopefully we're going to win the campaign and convince World Rugby to change their mind.
So what do we need to do? So obviously with the wider audience of Spill It, for people watching at home, for people who want to get on board with this campaign, what can we do? Where do we go with this?
So it's at the point now where we are largely now at the point now where unfortunately we're almost edging into the wait and see level.
Right.
What I want to say is, show us love on social media. Look for International Gay Rugby, which is our organisation. Retweet retweet, share. If you are involved in rugby, or any sport, not just through inclusive rugby, but also through local community teams, ask your teams to show support, because this is how we will win this. Is if, especially women's teams, but ultimately this boils down to a load of men who work at World Rugby have gone, we need to protect women. And
it's always men that's the problem, innit? It's always men.
Yeah, and if the women who play rugby say, well, actually, we're absolutely fine to play with transgender women, which most women in the rugby community are now saying, the more people who say, the more I lost you for.
There we go. Oh, I think you're back. There we go.
So the more women, especially,
yeah,
more women who come out and say, well, actually, we are absolutely fine playing rugby with transgender women.
Yeah. There we go.
And they're going to be amazing. But it really is. We're at the point now where, all submissions have gone in, all the, formal feedback, but let's not for a minute not think World Rugby are not looking at the, what gets said on social media, what gets said, the Spectator, the newspaper an article saying it was in favour of the ban this morning.
That's crazy.
So do not for a minute they'll think that the social media coverage is not being watched. So keep that up, because if the narrative,
it is a case of,
I'll say if the narrative.
Go on.
If the narrative is controlled by the anti-transgender activists, it's really hard to get our message across. Whereas if decent people are saying, actually, it's much easier to keep the narrative on our side. Yeah,
I suppose it's all to do with the education side of things as well. So not only are we educating people who, just as a standard conversation, because people in the community, people that I know, for instance, would be like, oh yeah, definitely behind that, whatever. But I think what we need to also do as well is that for those people who show resistance, we need to educate them. We need to find out why they are resistant and then educate them and bring them over to our side. So then actually they come to that realization that actually it's not as bad as I thought. They're the people, it's great to have the many people that will all be all like, yeah, you know what, we're there for you, we're behind you and all that lot. But it's the loudest voices are the negative ones. So that's what we need to do.
And the negative voices are being very, very good at pushing the same 3 or 4 points. It's the same quotes, the same pictures. So there's a picture from a rugby match of an absolutely huge transgender woman tackling a smaller cisgender woman. But that is no different than what you get in any other rugby game. I'm just larger than average weight-wise and 5'9" tall. I just before Christmas last year got tackled by a guy who, a lot like me, like a lot of guys who play for inclusive teams. I also play for a regular community team as well. A guy who plays for Typhoons also plays for a different regular community. As it happens, we were on opposite sides at a game. And I tackled him, and he must be 6'7", 6'8". Power lifter, absolutely huge. So that's it's no difference, the size difference in that photo than that.
It's not like on the pitch you're going to run up to each other and suddenly it turns into a boxing ring, and it's completely, it baffles me, absolutely baffles me. Yeah, it's crazy.
A huge amount of rugby training is all about how to tackle or be tackled by somebody who's a massively different size than you. So that's the one thing that the anti-activists and it's the same picture over and over again. Another picture is of a trans woman another quote is from a transgender woman in Wales who's talking after a match about a tackle she made and said, yeah, I folded her like a deck chair. But again, I hate to say it, anyone who's played rugby and done an amazing tackle will say something funny, will describe it in a funny way.
Yeah.
There's a picture of me from a game where I'm getting tackled, and the guy who tackled me commented on it saying, "That's the moment I knocked the soul out of your body." You know,
But then obviously, in this kind of a situation, that would then get misconstrued, and suddenly the media jump onto it, and other people, then, you know, all those people that just want to say something negative for the sake of saying something negative, they're the ones that will take that statement and go, "Oh, well, actually, blah, 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 blah." And people wind me up.
And then the third one they just constantly using over and over again is a quote from this study in Sweden. Yeah. So, but yeah, and like I say, so we are really actively pushing against this, and every community club that speaks out against it is great for us. Every single person who speaks out against it is great for us because it stops the anti-activists controlling the narrative.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Well, we're at that point of the show. Is there anything that you have not had chance to cover that you would like to get out now? I mean, if you've managed to talk about everything, perfectly fine. Sorry?
I would say I'm really impressed with myself. Normally, I have about 4 or 5 anecdotes that I just do round and round and round, and I've actually not done a single one of them today. So well done. Obviously, I will always do the point. If anyone, especially in Preston or Lancashire, wants to give rugby a try, come along, Typhoons. We train on a Thursday and a Friday night. Up at Preston Grasshoppers. Get in touch with us. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Record messages in droids and shoot them out in escape pods. Whatever is the best way to get in touch. Whatever is the best way to get in touch, and please come along. And if you're not local to us, there's 22 other teams scattered around England, 4 in Scotland, 2 in Wales, 2 in Ireland. Send us a message. We will introduce you quite happily to your nearest club.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Right then. So at the end of every episode, I give my guests the opportunity to say a quote, something that they might live by, something that they believe in, maybe something that they have heard or made up themselves or whatever. What would be the quote that you would want people to take away from today?
I would very much say that sport's for everyone. It really is. It's something, you know, like I said, I've cut sports for all. That's the one.
That's the one.
That's the one. Because genuinely, you know, so many people I know had a rubbish time with sports at school. They really, really did. And don't let that put you off getting out on a pitch, getting out on a field, in a gym, you know, in a sports hall, whatever. And there is a sport for everyone. You know, rugby is a sport for everybody. It really is, especially, you know. How many other games would you see where you get a tiny little scrum half and a 7-foot prop playing against each other?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how many other sports do you see that? You know, that's rugby. But there are so many sports, and there is a sport that anyone can enjoy.
Yeah.
And even if, you know, you feel, you know, so like rugby has touch rugby. If, you know, you want to play it but you don't actually get hit, play touch rugby. Or, you know, tag rugby, walking rugby for the over 50s.
Wow, I didn't even know all of those existed.
There's a great one called Masters Rugby. It runs using rugby league rules rather than rugby union. Nearest place is Blackpool, where the colour of your shorts is coded for how hard you can safely be hit.
Wow, okay.
Really popular with older people.
So when it comes... Sorry, carry on.
So you wear shorts that are colour coded for how hard you can be hit safely.
That is great. When it comes to the Typhoons, or any other of the like inclusive teams that you know of or whatever, what about if somebody wants to get into rugby but they've never played it before? Is that something that you guys would be wanting to still want them to get involved with, or what?
Absolutely, absolutely. Coaching people who've never touched a ball in their life is something that pretty much every inclusive club knows how to do. Some have a set night. They say, if you're completely new, come for your first session on such and such a week.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously it's easier to coach if everyone who's new turns up at once. Because, they can go in a group together and help each other.
Yeah.
Some clubs have that. Some clubs just say, just come along and join in on whatever night. Yeah. And, but again, just get in touch with your local team and they will set you up. Yeah, we have touch. Thanks, Nathan. So touch is rugby without the violence. It's you, basically, if you're touched by an opposition player, you put the ball on the ground and you step over it.
Wow.
Yeah, some clubs.
So there truly is then rugby for absolutely everybody, and obviously, as you said, really early on as well, that there is something for absolutely everybody, and this is about getting people back into sports, and especially with the LGBT community as well, where some people may have fallen out. I mean, me myself, I'm a prime example of it. I fell out of love with rugby and with football because of how other people made me feel, and it's got to a point further on down the line where now I'm like, well, I don't really care. I'd rather do something else because I fell out of love with it. And if there are people out there who want to refine that love, or even just try something that is perfect for their health and well-being. I mean, we had Nathan on last week, and he was talking about mental health and how the team has helped him. So if anybody's wanting to get involved like that, definitely reach out to your nearest team. And if obviously in the Preston area, reach out to the Typhoons. I think it'd be an opportunity that shouldn't go amiss, really.
Yeah, like I said, they're all up to we've got the Ravens up in Newcastle, the Wasps down in Devon. Absolutely loads of us scattered all around England. Like I say, 4 clubs in Scotland, 2 in Ireland, 2 in Wales.
Brilliant.
If you found a club, let me know, and I will put you in touch with the right people.
There you go, guys. You could be doing your own club. If you haven't got one near you, make one yourself. There you go. Yeah. That's a bit of inspiration for everybody at home as well. Yeah. Right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Yeah. It's been an absolute pleasure. And you never know, you might get a bit of a message from me asking if I might come along for a day and just see how it all.
Training on a Thursday night or a Friday if you wanted to watch.
There you go. Yeah. I might even just come down and just try and do a live episode of Spill It or whatever. Well, there's all sorts of stuff, but you never know. I might actually get into it. You might see me roughing it out in the good old rugby field. But there you go. Yeah. Simon says, final comment, reading out from Simon. You'll make friends for life in my club, the King's Cross Steelers. Yep.
They're the very first inclusive club down in London.
Wow.
Very first 5 guys met in a pub near King's Cross and came up with the idea back in the mid-90s.
That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Tina's jumping in. Go for it, Marcus. Tina, I do far too much in my life. Do you know what I mean? But there you go. Sure, Marcus, Friday Night Lights. Oh, see, what have I taught myself into now? Yeah. We'll see. Sure, we'll see, guys. We'll see.
We'll get him down.
Sorry. Yeah. Right. Well, that does take us to the end of the episode, guys. Thank you so much, Lawrence, for coming on and sharing your story. I'll get some links from you, and we'll post them out as well to everybody, so everybody can see, the Typhoons, and we can have a look at the international game rugby side of things. I can post all them links out so everybody can follow around, etc.
Yeah.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that takes us to the end. Thank you so much for jumping in, leaving your comments, etc. Next week's show, I've got a lovely next week's show, actually. We're going to have Lightning McQueen, Disney Pixar's Lightning McQueen. I will be doing a guest slot for Lightning McQueen, who goes around and does birthday surprises and everything like that for kids, which is absolutely going to be amazing. Obviously, Lightning McQueen won't be there because Lightning McQueen will be busy doing races and things. But we will have two people who also travel around with Lightning McQueen and do all of these parties for kids. And they've been working all the way through lockdown as well and putting smiles on people's faces as well, which will be absolutely amazing. So that's what's coming up on next week's show. Don't forget as well, guys, I'm still after Lockdown Heroes. So if you've got a nomination for somebody in your community, it doesn't matter where they are in the country. They could be, I don't know, we're not going to do the geography side of things again, but they could be anywhere in the country. If, for instance, that person has helped you through lockdown, through whatever means, whether that be knocking on the door, just checking in on you, leaving you with food hampers. I'd love somebody to have left me a food hamper. But, there you go. But anything at all, if it's your boss, your manager, a friend, a colleague, a teammate, anybody at all, whoever has helped you and been your lockdown hero, all you have to do is drop me a message with their name and the reason why you are nominating them as a lockdown hero. And I will be presenting my chosen lockdown heroes and giving them a little hamper from me, a thank you hamper with Spill It merchandise as well. So all you have to do is just get in touch and let me know. And please like and follow this page, guys, if you have enjoyed today's episode, for more episodes. And you can also watch our previous episodes as well. Don't forget as well, I am after your Christmassy people. I am after Christmassy people for our December countdown to Christmas. If you are the biggest Christmas fan out there, let me know, because I would love to schedule you in for our countdown to Christmas specials. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. So, thank you once again, Lawrence. I hope you've enjoyed being on the show.
Have.
Good. It's always good to hear. And for everybody else at home, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Get in touch if you'd like to come on and do an episode of what you want to do. It's your time to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Come and do it. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.